9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Woohoo! Happy Monday. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, and we got a lot of things to talk about. But first, before we get to all that, let me know where you all are hailing from, what city, what state, what country, all that good stuff, because our super chats are open. So that means for $2 or more, you can ask us what we've been doing for the weekend, our thoughts on certain things, all that good stuff, or just supporting the channel. What up, MDB and Eric? Thank y'all in the chat. And I am not alone. The PR princess herself, Courtney Rice, is in the building. How you doing?
It is Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Happy belated Mother's Day to everybody who had their moms, their aunts, their godmothers, anybody that was a motherly figure to them. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. But we have a lot to talk about with wrestling. We had Backlash happen over the weekend. And then, of course, we have Monday Night Raw talking about the fallout from Backlash. And also John Cena's announcement that he made last night during Backlash.
Very much so. I mean, we can also tie just into Kevin Hart just because, and The Rock. Actually, we can tie the Kevin Hart special with The Rock. Oh my God. We'll get to all of that. However, let's get into this. So AEW is suing Triller TV for nearly $5 million in overdue payments. And ironically, WWE didn't have not one, but two contracts with Triller TV where we are featured. Our interviews were featured on there. So I am kind of curious on, I suspect I know what has been happening, but I am kind of curious on how this is playing out. So you want to give us some details, Courtney?
Yeah, this is ironic because this actually broke out right before we came on. So courtesy of Brandon Thurston from Post Wrestling. And as you mentioned, filed a lawsuit against Triller TV and its parent company, Triller Group Incorporated, alleging the streaming platform owes Tony Khan's wrestling company just under $5 million in unpaid revenue from AEW pay-per-view sales and from proceeds from the now discontinued AEW Plus subscription service. This lawsuit was actually filed on April 29th in Duval County Court in Florida, and the legal complaint alleges Triller TV's parent company used AEW derived revenues to fund other businesses, including a social media platform that never took off, rather than paying AEW what it was owed. And it kind of goes into a lot in this. Pretty much Triller Groups, that's the main corporate company, strategy of robbing revenues generated by Triller TV's distribution of AEW's content to cover other of the defendants' operating expenses, much of which was spent on the social media platform Endeavor, negatively impacted its relationship with and payments owed to AEW. AEW's attorneys wrote in the lawsuit, and then it kind of goes into a lot more details where it does get a little bit messy, and it also mentions one of the corporate people from Triller TV actually re-signed this year. So there's a lot of things that happened in the story, and a lot more to come in the developing.
I definitely think guesstimating, obviously, like I said, we worked with Triller twice, but I have no dealings as far as with the back end. But definitely, I think where we are in society and where businesses are, and where society is right now, robbing Peter to pay Paul is a thing. And definitely, trying to figure out different revenue streams in order to keep afloat is a thing as well. And, sometimes when you bet on yourself, you don't always win. Don't believe what everybody tells you. Everybody doesn't win, because if everybody winning, it would be a totally different world right now.
And also make sure.
Yeah, that's why suspects happen.
Read your contracts.
Yes.
Read them.
Yeah.
Read them.
Read the contracts. It's important, but also, if it's that much, I think over a period of time, and when somebody is, saying we're going to pay you and they don't, you know, you can always suspect certain things. So
Mhm.
yeah, obviously bringing lawyers and everything involved, you tend to get more answers. So I hope that, you know, AEW does get their money, and I hope that Thriller doesn't go out of business because of it, because that's a lot of money. We'll see how it all plays out. I didn't think that was gonna be on the feed today.
Mm-mm.
I don't think
Nope.
anybody I don't think anybody thought it was, but you know, we'll see how it goes. I was telling somebody today that wrestling on a whole is just in a different space. Hey Dylan.
Mhm.
It's in a different space. So we'll see how it all kind of goes. To
It's
MDB, no, he's not. It's not about knowing, it's not about
mm-mm.
you money, so you don't know. It's the fact of, like Courtney was saying, contracts were signed, and you know, in exchange for putting AEW on their platform, there were supposed to be payments made. The payments weren't made. That's not about the money. It's about the principle sometimes. So
And I can give you
yeah,
another example because that's happening in the music industry right now. Kenny Lattimore, who was a singer back in the 90s and he's married right now, he is still trying to fight a lawsuit with his old record company because they owe him money from back in the 90s. Because I think one of his songs was like in the top 10 and he didn't get the proper money he wanted. So he is fighting right now in that lawsuit against the record label that signed him. So it's kind of like,
yeah.
as you said, morality, principles, and he just wants to
It's
stand up for what's right.
Yeah, it's the principle for me. I remember, and she's somewhere in Africa, so I highly doubt she's been watching the show. But I'm gonna tell this story. So at one point, I used to run a personal training business,
Mhm.
and I trained a friend of mine, and she was getting money through like the insurance company or something. So she's like, "All right, I got you, $1,200." So I trained her, and she's like, "All right, I got you. All right, and then she disappeared. And
Mhm.
to this day, I have moved on to a whole nother career, moved into a different country, all the things, and I still remember the amount, and I still remember that you owe me this. And it's about the principle, because you said I trained you and I did everything I was supposed to do, and then you just didn't get. And I'm still like, I'm not gonna forget that. It's like, this is what you owe me. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's not about forgiving, it's about the principle. It's not forgiving and forgetting, it's the
Mhm.
principle of the matter. Um it's not about finding her either. She shows up though. Um Speaking of people who showed up, Bayley showed up at AAA, which was a big surprise. We did definitely go and catch we did a post show and watch along for AAA. Shout out to Christina, because she's like, it's only going to be an hour, and it seemed like it was going to push 2, but it didn't. It was only an hour, thank God, because we did the watch along and post show for Backlash as well. But this was definitely a big surprise, and I don't know where you're at, Bosa, or somebody let us know, because we did see a couple of WWE folks that were at Backlash that were made appearances either through audio or visual on
Mhm.
AAA. So I don't know, AAA was already recorded at the time. However, Bayley has made a surprise appearance. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I saw it floating on socials a bit. I know Backlash was on that night because you guys didn't watch along for Backlash. Then you had to switch over to AAA because I did see the alert AAA because I get it on their YouTube channel because they had a show. But it's nice that Bayley is floating because this is not the first time she came to AAA. This is actually the second time she made an appearance. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy she is making time to actually float into AAA, and happy we get to see some WWE stars float in. But you kind of said this a couple of months ago when AAA was revamped, because we do want to see a lot of stars from AAA. We just don't want to see a lot of WWE stars and not have it, I don't want to say a washed up version, but not like a WWE version. So it's nice to have a
Right.
few of them pop in, pop out. Obviously, Dominic Mysterio's the reigning AAA Mega World Champion. So, of course, he's going to be on Raw and AAA. But it's nice to see kind of that floating in. And also, we are seeing a lot of AAA stars making their moves, not just on NXT. We've seen it on Raw. We've seen it on SmackDown. We've seen it at the Royal Rumble. Would not be surprised if they made a lot of surprises throughout the year. And actually, it kind of ties into our next story that we have revolving AAA.
Yeah. I also did say this on the watch along. I think it was for AAA. Like, and we already know, we talked about it, how like New Day decided to leave. But I could definitely see them doing something in AAA. Like the pay cuts that are, allegedly happening is TKO pretty much saying, well, you guys are sitting at catering, we're paying you to work, but there's nothing for you to do, so therefore we want to pay you less, etc., etc. That's what they're saying. But with like, I could so see the New Day in AAA. Like that's a possibility. So why that was possibly missed, I don't know. But yeah, let's talk about after this past Saturday at WWE Backlash. AAA will hold its largest annual event. It's going to be a 2-day event now. Courtney,
Ugh.
put on your PR hat and let me know. Say it ain't so, because
Yes,
there's
it
not enough
is.
time.
Yes, there is. This happened during Backlash, by the way, and it's happening in September later this year. It's September 11th and September 13th. Yeah, night one's like September 11th, second night is September 13th. But yeah, AAA is starting to boom a bit. This is one of their biggest shows of the year. I mean, hopefully Dirty Don will still be champion by then. Hopefully he is, if he doesn't have to defend the title anytime soon. But yeah, Dylan said we're entering a new era. A new era, no pun intended. But AAA is having one of their biggest shows. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we had not just Dom, Ray. Hopefully Conan will be 100% better, because I know he had to take a break because of health issues. So hopefully we do see some people. I would love to see Penta at that show. It would be nice for him to come in as still Intercontinental Champion at Triple Mania. I think he definitely shown a presence. And also Ray Phoenix would be another one. And just seeing that. And also I wouldn't be shocked if Lola Vice made an appearance. Hopefully she's still NXT Women's Champion by then.
It's the thing though. Are we going to hit a ceiling? Like I remember it reminiscent to like CrossFit, and I think this was a thing back when boxing became a thing because of what's his name, Rocky. Like something becomes popular, and so I'll give I brought CrossFit. I'll give the CrossFit analogy. CrossFit was like a huge thing. Like I used to like do emceeing for them. I used to like I that's where I saw Bianca for the first time, Bianca Belair. So CrossFit used to be a huge thing. The CrossFit Games was like a huge thing in California. There was CrossFit gyms all over the place. Now, not so much. And like with, AAA going to 2 hours, like, do we think that, and it's not just AAA, it's like wrestling on the whole, are we going to hit this invisible ceiling where then it's not going to be as popular, and then, people start losing out? Because that's what it feels like it's going to.
Well, it's kind of crazy because we were talking about the content creators getting flagged last week, and also with the fact too, some of them specifically watch WWE, and of course they're shifting into other promotions as well. I do think wrestling is a lot different when we were watching, because obviously WWE was like the main promotion that everybody was watching and talk about. Obviously, of course, you had WCW that was around for a bit, and then you shift a little gears. TNA is coming, and it's still kicking, it's still alive, and it's not dead. And then you throw in AEW and all these independent shows. And I just think, because we were talking about this last week, just picking a promotion that you like. I mean, I know people are kind of disappointed with the flagging and everything else, but it's just kind of learning how to pivot. And also there's plenty of wrestling to watch. If you don't like one promotion, you may like another promotion that you like, and pay attention to that. As I mentioned, I know TNA has been doing a lot of interesting stuff, even though they're in rebuild mode with their knockouts and tag team division. There are doing some stuff there. AEW, they're starting to kick it in and really trying to get revamped with Double or Nothing around the corner. And also the recent post on WWT with Seth and Christina, House of Glory, they're on fire. I know they're going to have some shows for the summer. And also it's starting to be hot. I don't think it's a ceiling. It's just you kind of have to pick and choose which wrestling promotions that you want. And if you like it and love it, and also support it. That's all you have to do is support it.
Supporting Bosa. I think a change of scenery could be good for Kofi and Creed. They gave 20 and 16 years to WWE. I wonder if the pay cut was an excuse for them being creatively done. I mean, I'm sure what we saw on, in the posts versus what's happening. I mean, there's probably some things that we're missing out. So we'll see, how it goes. I don't know. We'll see. It's just the world in general, and then you add wrestling or vice versa, wrestling, and then you add the world. It's just kind of like, okay. All you can right now, all it just feels comfortable in doing is like, I'm just gonna watch and see how everything goes. With that, we have a former champion said to be semi-retired following WWE Backlash. Is it saying ain't so? Is it the person that we're all thinking about that we thought who it was?
Everybody's been talking about it, but I don't know if it's true. It's allegedly at this point. Allegedly. If you did saw the banger of a match between Io Sky and Asuka, you saw after the match they were hugging, they were embracing, and just giving Asuka flowers, and everybody's kind of buzzing, saying, "Is Asuka semi-retired?" And I don't know. It's been buzzing around a lot. I don't know if you and Christina talked about this during the watch along after the match, or expected it.
We talked about it. It looked like that. I've seen my fair share of retirements, both through WWE and on the indie scene. Like, definitely feeling emotional, knowing that, possibly knowing that this is your last match. I mean, because why else would you be emotional? And yes, I mean, there might be one other thing you could be emotional, but how it all played out was just like, there seems to be like a little bit more to this. But I mean, we don't know. She might be emotional because she's, finally getting a vacation. Who knows? Things. I tend to like wait until it sees. I mean, I don't know. The speculation is cute, but not until I hear either from WWE or Asuka herself that like it's a wrap. Am I going to? And then in itself, you don't even know, because sometimes wrestling is really good with some good swerves. But what do you think?
I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, if you saw AJ Styles' post, he did put a little bit of a tribute to Asuka, because he was unsure of it, because a few of the people in the locker room pay their respects to Asuka, which I did love, and she's been in the game for so long. But I mean, if it's time, it's time. But if she wants to keep going and if she wants to take a break, that's her choice. And I 100% respect her decision. I'm not going to like force her to make the right decision, but whatever decision she makes, I'll 100% respect it and appreciated her tenure in wrestling.
This is for sure. We'll see what's going to happen with her. I'm like trying to look for this thumbnail while doing this. All right. Per Dylan, because I'm sure he's gonna be happy with this. Let's what's happening with Raw?
Well, I mean, we're continuing the fallout from Backlash tonight. If you did saw Backlash, you saw Roman Reigns successfully retained against Jacob Fatu, but however, he paid the price because Jacob Fatu really beat the crap out of him after the match. And also, we're supposed to be getting an acknowledgement. Jacob is supposed to be acknowledging Roman Reigns tonight. So we shall see how that goes. I am very curious on how this is going to go, and it'll probably not end well. We're also going to continue the Obafemi challenge. We started it off with Otis last week. Very curious on who's the next opponent is going to be in the Obafemi challenge and who is going to step up to the plate against the ruler. And also, there's two other matches I didn't get slides for, but Adam Pearce said it in his socials yesterday. We are going to have a 6-man tag team match between the Street Profits and Joe Hendry, taking on all 3 members of the Vision. And we're also going to have an appearance by the reigning WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Paige and Brie Bella, as they get the response from being called out by the Judgment Day last week. And all this and more is happening at the top of the hour from Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And is there a match or a segment or something you want to see in particular to Monday Night Raw?
I want to see kind of almost surreal with Paige and Paige and Bree. So I kind of want to see how that's gonna play out, because it's so crazy when both ladies at one point in time have left, and a whole different world or regime has happened, and now they're back. And then given now we have the pay cuts for people, and Nick Khan getting a pay raise and all this other stuff, I'm just kind of interested to see how this storyline is going to play out. So that's my curiosity in what's happening.
That too. I mean, I'm happy the Street Profits are finally back in action in the ring on TV. So hopefully we do get a little bit of umph in the tag team division, even though it kind of feels depleted. But hey, we shall see on that. Also very curious on what the ladies are going to do, Brie and Paige, after they got called out by the Judgment Day last week. But also we have Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, because they actually want to put their shot in. So I would not be surprised if they wanted to crash the party as well. But yeah, we're pretty much on the road to Saturday night's main event. End of the month, we have Clash in Italy. So hopefully we do get some matches in between. But very curious on the aftermath of from Backlash. And also, I know they're going to be talking about John Cena's announcement from Backlash.
And how was it? What was his announcement?
He is actually making a John Cena challenge. He's actually going to make a belt, and he wants people, superstars from the stars of today, to take on the stars of the future, similar to what they did on Saturday night's main event, where they had Sol Ruka, Javon Evans, Obafemi. Now he wants to include more superstars into the fray, and it looks like he's going to include a belt. They didn't provide all the details. It was just an announcement. So pretty much we'll probably get some more details in the coming weeks, and don't know exactly on when they're going to officially launch it.
Do you think with that this is TKO, he more they did it to try to get more people watching?
I think probably when in doubt, they had to break the emergency glass because of John, and also with the fact too, they're trying to keep the momentum going after WrestleMania. With the fact we are in Backlash, but we're pretty much on the road to their second big PLE, which is SummerSlam. But also, I think maybe because of like ticket sales, and also they're trying to go into panic mode frantically, and also some of the bad press that they had the last couple of weeks between the cuts, and we found out TKO and Triple H seem to have a little bit of internal struggles in the back. Also with many other things as well. I think I would love for it to be an opportunity for all superstars, not just from NXT, but also Evolve too, but also some superstars that we have not seen on television for the last couple of weeks. So it's a pretty interesting spot. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see more of John hosting. I didn't have a problem with hosting Backlash, but sometimes it's going to get a little bit repetitive if he continues hosting. Then some people are going to get tired of it. But I would have loved to see like another Hall of Famer or a well-known wrestler we haven't seen in years. Nothing against John. Always love seeing him, but it's okay to take a break. It is okay.
I don't know if it's him though. It's like I think it's TKO asking him.
Yeah. It's like
MDB saying we're all tired.
It's like, what's the money? It's like how much you're paying him, like how much money.
I don't know. I honestly don't think he's doing it for the money. I think that they're calling in a favor. Like I think hypothetically, I'll give you a scenario, right? We have WWT live on whatever, on a Saturday, we're doing a special thing, right? And then all of a sudden I can't make it. I will probably call you in as a favor, even though you, which I didn't know your schedule, you might have something and you're like, I'll do it because it's TK. And I think that's what happened. Like, I mean, obviously they're paying him. I don't think he's doing it for free, but I don't think it's like, oh, well, you got to pay me and I'll show up. I think he's like, all right, I'm going to do this for WWE.
And also, if you notice the suit, because I very rarely I ever see him in a suit, and I don't know why, for some odd reason, because I just watched the replay today. it reminded me a little bit of Vince. It's just the way that he presented himself.
Yeah, that's what Christina said.
It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, but I feel like since we're talking about WWE Raw on their preview, excuse me, we should talk about because I want to talk about it, just give it a little bit of light. The Kevin Hart roast yesterday with The Rock. I think he did like a 15 or 20 minute bit.
Yes.
And you know, the first thing that I thought was, oh, you can show up for your friend, but you can't show up for you be not okay.
I mean, that was kind of a point made. That was pretty much right there. Right there.
I mean, I think it's gone now. I don't think we're gonna see him wrestle ever again.
And it's crazy. And it's crazy. And it's crazy. Backlash was in Tampa too. It was in Tampa.
Like, so it's just like this will be. You have 20. You don't even have to wrestle that long. I mean, the ship has sailed. The bloodline is just a different version of itself now. At its highest time, that would have been the best time to strike. You know, who knows what's going to happen the next year or two, but you know, and you know, like as Christina would say, I do love me some Rock, but and I did find his bit hilarious, especially when he was talking to Kevin Hart's wife. But yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, Rock, we appreciate everything done, but
you didn't finish the story. You didn't finish the story. Like, come on, man. Like, you and Roman going head to head. I didn't mind Chelsea. I didn't find Tony Hinchcliffe. He had some good stuff. The last joke was not cute. I didn't like the fact that everybody was harping on Cheryl Underwood. I feel like, and I'm not a comedian, but I love comedy. I feel like sometimes when everybody reaches to the low-hanging fruit, it's not as funny. Like, Cheryl Underwood is not Halle Berry. We all know that, and I feel like Cheryl knows that too. And I don't want nobody coming for me. I'm not Halle Berry either. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? And then even with Chelsea, it's just kind of like, okay, like, I don't know. There's certain parts that I'm like, okay, this wasn't funny. But when Cat Williams came on, oh my god,
yes, Cat Williams.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Rock, can you go away and never come back? It's not that. I'm just saying you missed an opportunity, and I feel like it might not have just been his fault. The way you're hearing people talk, it just feels like they couldn't come to a common goal, like it was supposed to happen in Vegas. Where were we in before Vegas? Philly. You've been
Philly.
asking. Well, I'm lying. I've been asking for this since Hollywood, since LA, and all of this has transpired. And now Rock is, I don't know, supposed to let me know in the chat, 55 or something. Not to say that he's old, but he's older. He's lost some weight. He's probably a little bit lean. Like, he's probably not ring shape. And again, like I said, the bloodline storyline is not as hot as it was like 2 years ago. So that's the possibility is just not there. We don't know how long Roman's going to be there for. So there's just so many different things.
And also the fact too, his dates in June is shortened.
Yeah. So yeah. So who knows? So yes, congratulations, Kevin Hart. You know, we know that you guys, your bromance is super strong. You know, despite my feelings on you not showing up for WWE, you did make me laugh on the roast, but you know, it did strike a chord a little bit. Like, you could show up for Kevin, but you can't show up for us.
I mean, and he's been
Right.
to WWE before, Kevin Hart. So it's like,
I just finished the story and then you could go away. Maybe you're not into it anymore. Maybe it's like one of those relationships that, again, for a terrible analogy, you got married like when you were really young, and now you in your, I don't know, your 30s, and you're just not feeling them anymore. But like your wife asked you to show up for like the graduation, and you just show up because you know you have great memories of your wife. You might not want to be with her like that all the time, but you have great memories. That's how it should be. Like, just show up. Just, you know, you showed up a couple times, but just finish the story. Like, close that chapter. The child is almost 18. They're almost out the door. Help us help you.
Don't be shocked if his name gets floated around for Saudi next year. I'm just saying.
Oh, those Saudi jokes for Kevin Hart were hilarious.
Yeah, don't be shocked.
Yeah. Bosa's saying I could see Rock versus Roman. Yeah, but would it be as fun? It's kind of like, for my boxing enthusiasts, it's kind of like Mayweather and Pacquiao not at their prime. And it's just kind of like, are we going to get, 10-minute entrance walks for the both of them? You know, we'll get some great promos. I don't know if the match is going to be, maybe. I don't know. Surprise me. I'm not saying if it does happen, I'm not going to watch. Clearly, we're still watching despite everything that's going on.
I mean, yeah, we're still going to watch it because we're still going to watch it in Saudi next year regardless.
Right. If it happens. So that is, so if you don't want to watch, I think it was like 2.5 hours. If you don't want to watch all 2.5 hours of Kevin's roast and you want to get a play-by-play, then hit me up. I can definitely do that because I watched till super late, even though I shouldn't have, and it really messed up the rest of my morning. But here we are. With that being said, Kevin Nash to TKO execs, get your noses out of creative, go F yourselves, like AAA run the show. Oh my gosh. Hey, thanks, Headlines Tony, for the $2. Now, with that being said, we're going to promote his show that's coming up after ours, the Raw watch along and post show. 10 Lives and Tony has joined WWT, and he will be doing the post show. So Bosa, there you go. The mayor is actually, if you guys hear on Friday, the mayor is also doing a special show. I don't know when it's gonna be, today or Saturday, but be on the lookout for that. But for our Raw enthusiasts, check it out with Tantalizing Tony today at, I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern. So definitely go and support. But Kevin Nash is saying, get the F out of here. Which, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are saying that. And it also is kind of interesting, like, how Kevin Nash, they always kind of go to him or Booker T for quotes. And then it just gets taken, on a crazy ride. But what does Kevin Nash have to say, Courtney?
Well, I mean, we kind of been talking about this the last couple of weeks regarding TKO and WWE internal ones. It's pretty much, he said this on his podcast where he addressed the pattern of TKO executives inserting themselves into WWE's creative direction and the broader culture of changes that have frustrated talent and fans alike. And he pretty much goes on to say, Paul takes over and everybody loves the direction that he's carrying, but carrying the new WWE program into the Netflix era. Lo and behold, like every other business on earth, the guys above him that don't have a clue besides get paid more decides to start sticking their dicks where they don't need to. We're going to throw this guy in. Let's put this guy in.
Oh my.
How about him in the main event? We have a $500 million deal that this guy is locked into. While we're at it, let's make the arena look like NASCAR. It doesn't take anything away from Paul Levesque because Paul Levesque still knows what he's doing. If anybody out there thinks this might apply to them, how about leaving the company alone, Get your noses out of creative. Go F yourself. Let Paul run the company. And pretty much he kind of goes into detail where he turned his fire on what he described the real motivation behind the WWE talent cuts that's been happening the last couple of weeks since after WrestleMania. Allegedly, that UFC's financial situation is bleeding into WWE's operations. He kind of goes on to say, if you guys want to cut the talent, don't throw it in Paul's lap and make him the bad guy. Don't tell him, give me 6 years of creative process and give it to me by Wednesday. If I don't see a certain guy's name on there, I'm going to cut it by 50%. How about just go F yourselves? How about you grow a set of balls? You walk in and you tell them, because UFC is bleeding through every trinket that they have. We're going to cut people from WWE to stop the bleeding from the other company. UFC is whoring money and WWE isn't. How about we tell the truth? And yeah, it kind of goes further into detail. And it's pretty much as what we've been saying the last couple of weeks since after WrestleMania has ended.
I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the comments.
I know. I mean, we don't know for sure. I mean, that's a good speculation from Kevin Nash, and that is possible. I mean, we've seen, excuse me, along with the changes of wrestling, we've seen the changes in MMA and in boxing. I mean, we have. We had Rhonda and Gina. I think it's happening on the 16th, right? Didn't happen.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah,
this
we
weekend.
have. Yeah, so we have Rhonda and Gina having their thing on a totally separate network that's presented by oh my god, what's his name? Logan's brother.
Paul.
Like Paul.
Oh no,
yeah,
Jake.
Jake. So he started his own promotion, which I feel like with what he's doing thus far with celebrity boxing and boxing in general, and making it more entertaining and making people want to watch it a la, the Mayweather days, is taking away from the HBOs and etc. And just the promo that Ronda cut on UFC when they first debuted the match, and talking about that, like, there's just a lot of different factors. Maybe it is changing the scope of boxing and MMA to the point where it's kind of where the first story where we're talking about, as far as Thriller TV owing AEW, maybe it's the same thing where it's like they're trying to use funds to pay for other things, etc. So we don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'll come out eventually, because most businesses have to be documented in some way, some shape, some form. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't see it as we are burying the company, meaning that, like, WWE crashes and burns, and now we see everything that happened, and we're like, oh, hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't think anybody who is voicing their frustration wants the death of WWE, AEW, or any other wrestling company, because that's jobs for everybody in the ring and outside the ring. So we just want it to be fun. We just want it to be fun again. Make wrestling fun again. Somebody make that into a shirt.
And we want everyone to eat. We want everyone to eat and have their own pay cut, because we all love the product. It's just, of course, we do have some people that don't understand the product that we've been watching when we were kids, or how we got into it. But it is changing. I don't want it to die. I don't want no wrestling company to die, but hopefully they can get out of this funk and just make wrestling fun and likelihood again.
Can we like, so can we say something like make wrestling great again without it being, attributed to other people? I feel like,
I think
that's like a legitimate statement, but it also feels like, if I put it on a red hat, then it's not gonna, the message gets lost, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, we'll see what happens. All we can do is we're on the train. We're just riding this coaster to see, where, I guess we'll see what happens in the end. So we have somebody who joined the TNA wrestling broadcast team for Sacramento's Street Fight on Thursday, May 14th on AMC. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of TNA news that's happening. TNA Wrestling confirmed confirmed today that Chris Carre, a fourth generation MLB play-by-play TV announcer for the Athletics and the great grandson of Baseball Hall of Famer Harry Carre, will join the TNA broadcast team for the Sacramento street fight between AJ Francis and Casey Navarro this Thursday. Pretty much, if you have not been following TNA, Casey Navarro recently came back from tearing his ACL. Right before he got injured, he was kicked out of First Class by AJ Francis. And now, since he's back, they're in this little bit of a rivalry. So this Thursday, they're going to have a Sacramento street fight where nothing is off limits and everything goes into war to settling the score. Carre kind of goes in to say, I'm really excited and a bit nervous.
MDB says Carrie.
Okay. Carrie goes on to say, I'm really excited and a bit nervous to be ringside for the Sacramento street fight. Who confirmed he will bring a baseball bat and batting helmet to the broadcast booth for his protection. For someone who talks for a living, and hopefully I'm not in the way of it, pretty much the Carrie name, if you don't follow baseball, it's legendary in Major League Baseball, starting with Harry, who called the games from 1945 to 1997, ending his iconic career with the Chicago Cubs, where his signature style included the holy cow home run and leading fans in singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game during the 7th inning stretch. So pretty much there's a lot of history in here, but if you're watching TNA this Thursday, do not miss this broadcast because this is going to be a special one.
Sounds good. His grandfather has a restaurant in my city. Okay, MDB. I like. Do you like when they bring people who are, I don't know if the right word's not wrestling enthusiasts, but people who are not. It's kind of like bringing influencers into the wrestling space and they just haven't been watching wrestling. They're not used to the product. Are you for it, or do you think it's beneficial because you bring a whole new set of eyes, or are you like, get off my lawn?
Get off my lawn. I think it's kind of, I guess for me, it's kind of a mix because working in PR and comms, that's one of our jobs, is to have them learn about the product and teach them it. So I don't know if it's, because I think we probably have talked about this with WWE and TKO and all the brands, but I do think if they're familiar with wrestling, and especially that particular promotion, okay, like at least they know that, but just keeping up to speed. But if they have no clue on what the brand is or the wrestling thing is, this is where you have your PR and your media comms team stepping in to educate them and give them talking points on who's that person, who's this person. And you just have to know at least, not the entire roster or everything about them, but at least just know 3 good facts about some of the stars on the roster. Some of them are familiar, but it's just at least know a few things, and if they're the reigning champions, and also just learn how to pronounce their name. That's all.
That's all. That's it. There's no good segue because I was going to say something about Canada, but Giselle Shaw, she is making history. 365 days as the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Women's Canadian Champion. So let's talk about this because I remember when Maple Leaf Pro kind of made its debut, and Giselle has been kind of like the face. So definitely congratulations to her. And what other news do we have with that?
I mean, just a little bit congratulations to her. She made it past a year. If you've been following Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, she has been really making her mark. I know during Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, she wrestled against the reigning Ring of Honor Pure Women's Champion Deonna Purrazzo in that match. Good match, by the way. I heard a lot of great reviews about that match, but she has been killing it a lot in the wrestling scene. And yes, Boza, she's also the NWA Women's Television Champion. So she has making her name afloat in both promotions, and very happy to see that she is making her mark. And hopefully we do see more of her soon. I know Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling will have some wrestling shows in the future, but very excited to see her making her mark.
That is for sure. Definitely congratulations to her. Yeah, I've heard some good things over there from Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, and I can't wait to eventually see my first show there. I had an opportunity and just couldn't get out that far. I was in Montreal at the time. But yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else that we want to talk about or cover as I'm trying to fix my chair?
I mean, that's pretty much it for me on story-wise. But also, friendly reminder, this Friday is Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. If you're in Maryland, make sure to watch that card because there are some good solid matches. So yeah, this Friday.
There it is. With that being said, where can everybody find you?
They can find me chirping sporadically on Twitter and Instagram on @CourtneyNJ11 because I do have a lot of stuff happening. Make sure Wednesdays are Timeless Elite Wednesdays with me because we are on the road to AEW Double or Nothing in Queens, New York. Obviously, from the fallout from Fairway to Hell, we are switching gears to AEW Dynamite. So you get to spend 2 hours with me, but also getting a little preview of Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, which is this weekend. Also, if you're in Maryland, AEW Collision will be there this weekend. But feel free to follow me on that. Make sure to follow ISPW Wrestling. Congratulations to Ricky Price, who is the new ISPW World's Heavyweight Champion. He won it over the weekend on Friday. So congratulations to him. And Honey and I will be at 80s WrestleCon this weekend because we have a lot of stars from the 80s. If you remember the 80s, you remember some well-known wrestlers. There's Coco Beware, Ted DiBiase, Wendy Richter, along with many others from the 80s that will be there. And Honey and I will be there too. So hopefully we're going to get a lot of coverage this weekend. Hopefully we do get some interviews with some people, but it's going to be a fun time celebrating the 80s of professional wrestling.
There it is. I think also in tandem with that, the mayor will be at the Ontario Comic-Con, I believe it is. So we'll post some details on that. And I believe there's some wrestling shows that are in Los Angeles that we're going to cover as well. So kind of keep it locked on that. We're going to definitely do some more. We're going to be definitely covering some more indie shows. So if there's shows that you want us to cover on the East or West Coast, send them our way and tag us because we be getting a lot of DMs, y'all. So even though there's more than one of us reading it, there's a lot going on. This is so crazy. I have so many Instagram accounts for different things for work that I reach capacity on one phone and I have to add another one on another phone. Like it's crazy. One of those accounts is for my dog, so it's not all work, but you know. So with that being said, you can follow my dog Bela Bell II on Instagram, but you can also follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Make sure you keep it locked to all things women's wrestling talk on all social media platforms at www.talkpod.com. There's interviews. There's we just put out a lot of matches from a lot of indie shows that we went to over the last 3 weeks. We have Ladies Night Out. We have a Hog. I believe Blood Sports also on there on our YouTube page. So there's a lot of things for you guys to check out. But in the meantime, keep it locked. In the next hour, Tantalizing Tony will be doing the Raw watch along and post show. So you definitely want to hear his hot takes because he is absolutely hilarious. So go and get yourself something to eat. Walk your dog like I'm going to walk my dog and come back and make sure you check out Tantalizing Tony for Raw. But thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.